Welcome to the Gamification Report, where we read the journals for you so that you don't have to read them. This week, serious game evidence for efficacy in teaching. Let's have a look at the data. We're going to be looking today at meta-analysis of serious educational game outcomes, badges as a training tool, and meta-analysis of VR and AR in learning. Let's get moving. The meta-analysis of serious educational games and learning completed in the University of Buffalo 2018, Richard Lamb and his team. And this is a great study. They looked at all other studies. That's what a meta-analysis is. And that is that serious educational games had a high skill set development, which was much greater than using pure simulations or serious games. Higher cognitive gains and positive effect toward learning were the great results, and it was most pronounced in K-12, that is in kids. So serious educational games, after this very exhaustive review, come out in positive. You're smarter if you use them, but we knew that already. We'll look at the work of Zahira Merchant at Texas A&M 2018, publishing in a meta-analysis of virtual reality instruction. The key findings here were not surprising. Games in VR show higher learning gains than simulations in virtual worlds. For simulation studies, elaborate explanation-type feedback is more suitable for declarative tasks, whereas the knowledge of correct response was more appropriate for procedural tasks. Student performance is enhanced when they conduct gameplay individually more than in a group, and an inverse relationship between number of treatment sessions and learning gains for games. What we're saying here in 1D is that you learn more using VR, and that if you do it on your own in your own little VR world, you're optimizing the use of it. So group work, not so great. Ranking of outcomes, they look at tethered VR and VR and simulations and games with VR, and look what it says in our ranking chart. Games that use VR have the highest level of engagement and the highest level of outcome when she looked at her metadata across a number of different studies. So if you're using VR, but you're not using it as part of a game, you're behind the curve. Time to catch up. In simulations, that is so 1985. We're not going to talk about that. So now we're developing this concept of a serious game ecosystem that comes out of these publications. That at the center we have serious games, we have virtual learning environments, virtual objects, simulations, streaming social spaces, flipped MOOCs, and virtual reality, all hinging in serious games as the centerpiece. Just what we were hoping for. Let's move on to our next publication this week, Juho Harari, 2017, publishing from Finland, To Badge or Not to Badge. What does evidence say? He did a study here. We had about 1,500 people, and he followed them for a year after they finished their training. And those that received badges in the course of their training were more likely to post trade proposals, carry out transactions, and comment on proposals. In other words, these people were able to do their job much more effectively in the workplace if they were badged. Isn't it amazing that just giving somebody a little digital badge enhances performance up to a year later? That kind of blew me away as well. But yes, badge away, it's much more powerful than a tap on the shoulder and a piece of chocolate cake for your effort. Akir and Akir, a husband and wife team in Turkey, 2017, have done a systematic review of augmented reality in education. They looked at 68 research articles, and we have a lot of AR studies starting to appear over the past 4 years. And we have a lot of technical problems that concern it, but if we look at it between 2007 to 2015, there's a lot more articles coming out in the area of AR. And guess who's using AR? Higher education, 29%. K-12, almost half of it's being used with children. Kindergarten, not much AR. And those of us that are adults and not in the education system, we ain't using AR at all. A little Pokemon Go, but that's a been here and done that thing at this point. AR sorted by device use. It's just like you'd think. You're not doing it in desktop. You're going to use augmented reality on your mobile device to find your little Pokemon creatures. So what should we do with AR right now? Well, that's up for you to decide, and that's our report for this week. AR, VR, all coming on board, and it looks like serious educational games are here to stay and are knocking the pants off conventional education. We'll see you next week. We read the journals so you don't have to. Have a good one.